Good morning. Just a little bit exciting, isn't it? In our typical British understated way, quite exciting. Hi everybody, just out of interest, in exactly 7 days' time, it will be the anniversary of when Wendy and I started this, what we thought at the time was a sort of funny little cataloguing door-to-door business. And I remember going out my first day with my 200 catalogues at 6:30 in the morning, drizzly September morning, walking up and down the Bath Road in Longwell Green, shoving these things through letterboxes, and thinking, is this going to work for me? Anybody thought that when you first started? You know it works for other people, but you're still thinking, is it going to work for me? Am I right? I was back by 8 o'clock in the morning, just in time to get in the car, shoot off to work as a dry cleaner. And how was I to know on that day when I was putting out those 200 catalogues that 19 years later that funny little cataloguing door-to-door thing would have sold, in total, £170 million worth of product? Incredible, huh? And that's just our personal retail. No. It involves some other people, doesn't it? The one thing I'm absolutely sure of, though, guys, is that if Wendy and I were starting today, we could have done it just so much quicker. And you wonder why? Well, we didn't have anywhere near the incentives and tools that are available from Kleeneze today. Let's look at the first one. Miami. See, they managed to get a picture of me in there. Miami. Mission impossible or mission I'm possible? Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I first got in the business, I used to hear people say things. The difference between those two, Chris, is belief. Anybody heard that? And you know it's true. It is about belief. But my problem was how do you magic up that belief out of nowhere? I don't know if any of you are the same, but I always need some sort of logic, I need some sort of plan so I can see how I might be able to achieve it, so that I then can believe I'm possible. So, over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to give you a little bit of my logic and a bit of a plan, which might, in fact, I'm sure will, put you into the second category instead of the first. You see, what you've got to do is between now and period 12, you've got to get to gold distributor or break a gold leg. Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, it took me 3 years to get to gold distributor. How can I expect a new person to get to gold? Well, let me just give you a brief plan and maybe you'll believe you can. Okay. What are the tools that they've given us? Jamie's just mentioned Voucher 7. You know, when you start a business, normally you have to leverage it through finance from your bank. Jamie's just offered to do that through Kleeneze for you. Because one of the problems is you're going to need 300 catalogues if you're going to go and attack the retail properly. Because the first part of your plan, if you want to get to Miami, is leading from the front, getting out there and getting it rolling. The problem is 300 catalogues cost £204, and most people don't have that type of money just to say, hey, I just happen to have £204 on me, I'll go and buy some catalogues. So Jamie's allowing you to get those now, as he mentioned earlier. Plus, you'll notice that those 300 catalogues are now 330 catalogues because they've increased it by 10%, haven't they? 10% increase in catalogues equals a 10% increase in sales, and a 10% increase in sales equals a 10% increase in income. So Kleeneze has effectively already, before you started, given you potentially a 10% pay rise. Now, there's not many companies out there doing that at the moment, is there? Well, unless you're an investment banker or local councillor, maybe one of those. Controversial, sorry. Okay, so what are we going to do with these catalogues? Well, here's an idea. Here's an idea. How about put them out twice a week? That would give you, working on lowest common denominator, company average of 85 pence a catalogue, which I know this time of year it's going to be way more than that anyway. And we're talking about just letterboxing, and we're talking about going to non-customer based. We're talking about just going what we call blanket dropping, okay? Now, somebody might quite likely say to me, Hold up, Chris. 660 catalogues a week? Are you talking full-time? Well, I'm talking maybe even in part-time. That's a hell of a lot of catalogues. My answer to them would be, yeah, it's about 132 a day, 5 days a week. You say, well, that sounds like really hard work. My answer to them would be, well, I thought you said you wanted to go to Miami. When I started, I was doing 200 catalogues in the morning before I went to work in the morning. 5 days a week. Was it hard work? Yeah. I picked up the catalogues in the evenings. Weekends, I did my product deliveries. People say, well, it sounds, Chris, as though you're probably eating, sleeping, breathing Kleeneze with every cell of your body 7 days a week. Yeah, I was. Do you know what? It was incredible fun. Can you imagine getting so wired that every morning you wake up and you can't wait to go out and attack the day? Do you remember when you were at school? Getting up for school in the morning, what happened? Your mum had to wake you up 5 or 6 times, didn't she? Do you remember the first day of summer holidays? Boing, you're out of bed, weren't you? 6 weeks, going to do whatever. Can you imagine feeling like that every day? That's how it was, guys. Was it worth it? Well, I don't need to answer that really, do I? So, everybody says this is a marathon, not a sprint. Heard that? I was told that when I first started, and it's absolutely true. But let me tell you what. If you're going to be in a marathon, what's the harm in sprinting at the beginning to get ahead of the pack? Yeah? And how hard are you prepared to sprint if you really want to go to Miami? Right. Do that for 4 weeks. You've got £2,240 worth of sales in a period. Again, I'll just refer back to when I started and what we did. I produced, when I was still part-time, I went full-time very quickly after about 8 or 9 weeks, but even while I was part-time, I was producing £3,000–4,000 worth of sales. And I didn't even have Miami to go for. I was trying to get out of my job, really. What sort of income will that give you? That's an income of £650 per period. Now, not a huge income, but what sort of difference would that make to the average household in the UK right now? Is that the difference between upgrading your car, having a holiday or not this year, taking the kids to Disney, or maybe just being able to keep your house right now, which is a common story right now, isn't it? It can make a massive difference to people's business, to people's lifestyles, should I say. Plus, it gives you an incredible story to tell your new distributors as they join you, the power of having enough catalogues on day one and what you can do with it and what income you can make. Incidentally, I think Jamie mentioned this voucher 7, if there's 2 of you here and you're a partnership, you can both use your vouchers. So you can in fact double this if you want. Okay, that doesn't get you to Miami though, does it? It's going to involve getting some extra people into your business. So perhaps we need a tool that's going to help us to do that. We've got the tool now that Jamie's just given us to get the retail. We need a tool that's going to help us get people on board and into the business. Well, if you take them up on this offer, you're going to get 50 opportunity DVDs for free. Now, if you treat these DVDs exactly the same as your catalogues, and what do we know about catalogues? We know 2 things about the catalogues, don't we? I don't know if you've noticed this, but if you put them under your bed, you tend not to get any orders. Anybody notice? Yeah? Tends to work that way, yeah? If you go and put them out in the way I'm talking, and I'm talking blanket dropping to non-customer base, you're just getting started, about 1 in 10 customers buy. That's about the average. So, working on that average, we know that we can go out and build a really good customer base, can't we? Working on that basis, i.e., fail 9 times out of 10, you build a really good customer base. We all accept that, yeah? That's the way it works. DVDs are no different. Go out, 1 in 10 might show an interest. Fail 9 times out of 10 on your sponsoring, you can build a massive team. Does that make sense? Okay. There's 4 words i.e., sorry, 50, if you can get all 50 DVDs out and back again, there's 5 new distributors. Now, hold up, Chris. What do I do? How do I do it? What do I say? If you're making notes, here's just 4 quick words worth jotting down. Opinion, lend, length, and timescale. You give the DVD to somebody, you say, would you do me a favour? Would you give me your opinion on this opportunity that I've just joined? This opportunity I've been in a year, whatever your situation is. Because you see, when somebody asks your opinion, it's a compliment. How many times have you been asked your opinion in the last month? Nobody does. It's such a compliment when somebody asks you. Do you value their opinion? Absolutely. You want to know if they're interested, don't you? Yeah. That's number 1. Number 2, lend. If you say to somebody, I'm going to lend you this DVD, it puts value on it. It means it's yours, it means you want it back, but it also means they'll look after it. The opposite is, oh, I've got 50 of these, have one. You see how that's got no value? So lend is a key word. Length, it says on the front, it's 15 minutes. Reiterate that. Say, it's only a short 15-minute DVD. Why do you say that? Because a DVD is a 2-hour film to most people. And time scale, this is what I call the library book principle. You go and pick up a book from the library, they give you 3 weeks to read it. Why did they do that? Because if they said, oh, just bring it back when you're finished, you'd never get around to reading it, would you? 24, 48 hours max to get the DVD back. So, okay, that sounds very well, Chris, but who am I going to give it to? Well, this is really simple, guys. Customers. If you're doing this retail plan, you're going to have loads of customers. Why are customers the perfect prospect? If anybody here used to be a customer before they joined Kleeneze, can you put your hand up? If you just have a look around, well, loads, okay? Why are Kleeneze customers the perfect prospect for joining? Well, they know it works. They've ordered the product. They know people buy. They know how it works. They've seen you doing it. And by giving them a DVD, you just trained them how to build a team before they've even joined. So how many times could you do that as you're delivering your product to customers? Drop the DVD off, use the 4 words. Okay, who else? People you know. Family, neighbours, work colleagues. Bear in mind, you're not going to say to them, hey, watch this DVD, you'll probably be interested in joining my business. You're just going to ask their opinion. And do you know what happens when you do that? You're 100% successful. You'll always get an opinion. Not always the one you want, but you'll always get an opinion. Okay. People you encounter. The postman. The local newsagent when you go to pick up your newspaper in the morning. The guy that you meet at the bus stop every morning on the way to work. People that you just meet. Make sure you know how to get the DVD back off them and don't forget to use the 4 words. Be inventive. Find as many ways as you can of getting these out. Because if you can get all 50 out and back again, the chances are you're going to have 5 new distributors. Because you know what? This tool does the job for you. None of us are unique enough for it not to work for us. Is anybody capable of putting out catalogues the same as you do and not getting the same result? No. The same applies to the DVDs, guys. Big question is, how many times could you put those 50 out between now and period 12? How many times could you cycle those? So, the one thing that's for sure is you're never going to run out of people. Has anybody noticed you walk out your front door and there's just people everywhere, isn't there? Right? You're not going to run out of people to talk to. Okay, so let's get back to our plan. There's you. You're off doing the retail. You're going crazy. You're doing what Chris and Wendy Mason-Paull did when they first started. You're out there working flat out, okay? Do you know if you can just find 3 people to do the same, do you know what happens? Your income doubles, you become a gold distributor, and you're on track for Miami. Now, you know, some people say, hold up, Chris, this is all very well in theory. Okay, I've seen these sort of plans before. It's great in theory, but do you know what the reality is? Hang on, let me ask you a question. Is this impossible? It's not impossible, is it? No. Will some people do this? Yeah. Do you know the ones that are going to say, instead of saying it's impossible, they're going to say, I'm possible. Do you know the worst scenario? You go for this, you don't quite make it, and you made a shed load of money by trying. Would that be pretty good by Christmas? Okay, so we've got a tool to get your retail going. We've got a tool to help you with your sponsoring. What about a tool to help those people get off to the best possible start, to help them and us qualify for Miami? Because, you know, people starting right now could do it. People starting right now could get to Gold Distributor. Wendy and I got to Bronze Exec, the equivalent. We didn't actually get to Gold Distributor. We never had the privilege. We sort of jumped it and became Bronze Exec Distributors. And we did it within a couple of months of joining because 2 people on our team went to Gold, so we missed out just being Gold by ourselves. And do you know how many people we had on our team to do that? 12. 12 people. We got to Bronze Exec. Can you believe it? Because of the work ethic tends to duplicate, doesn't it? So how about having a tool that's going to get people off to the best possible start so you can do the same? Well, how would you like to have a tool that will help you to have experienced distributors within the first 7 days? You imagine being able to ring a guy up after 7 days and he sounds like he's been in the business for months. This tool I've used consistently now for a number of months. I gave it to a young lady who started in Wales. A week later, she gave me a call and she said, "Chris, I've got an order I want to place for £12 something, and that's the only order I've got at the moment, but I want to place it." And I thought, oh, it's one of these phone calls, because she said, "What's the delivery charge going to be?" I thought, oh no, one of these, how do you explain? She said, no, she said, "I understand there's a charge," she said, "because I'm prepared to take the hit, because I want this customer to become a long-term customer of mine." This is somebody who's been in for a week, and I'm convinced it's because of this tool. How about a tool that's going to help you not having people quit after 2 weeks before they've made it, because they haven't made a profit? Anybody have those? Yeah. And has your distributors committing to a long-term business for the next 10 to 15 years? Well, we have this tool available today. It's called Making the Shift by Darren Hardy. Today we're doing a special offer. Voucher 3, £4 each. The DVDs, the CDs are. They used to, I think they were retailing at something around about £8. If you buy them in a pack of 5, redeem your voucher with Barry at Knowledge It's King in the break, and get some of these guys. What I suggest you do is do what it says on the tin yourself first before you use it. Listen to it several times in your first week. So you're going to get the feeling that your new distributors are going to get. Make sure that all your new distributors have this on day one. Now, people say, well, hang on, that's £4 a time. Well, use the same principle of lend. Lend it to them. Do you know what? Not everybody listens to it, but you know the guys that do, you'll be amazed the difference it makes to that new person's business. Highly, highly recommend it. If you haven't heard it yourself, make sure you get them today. Have a listen and you'll understand what I'm saying. Okay. So, is it Miami or bust? No. Because it's Miami, and you're not going to go bust by trying. Okay. It's actually Miami and or massively increase your income just by trying. A lot of people I talk to say, "That's fantastic, I'm going to give that everything." Some people I talk to will say, "Yeah, but you know the people that say, 'Yeah, but'? Yeah, have you ever got those? You know, it doesn't matter what you say, they say, 'Yeah, but'." Okay. Well, in the immortal words of Jim Rohn, those who are to be affected will be affected, and those who are not to be affected, those who are to be unaffected will be unaffected. The choice we all have today is, which category am I going to be in? So enjoy the rest of the day. It's going to be a real treat. Thanks for listening.